What if a simple mission, exploring the galaxy somehow went wrong? And you didn't just end up across space, but flung into Earth's future. A really stark, unrecognizable future. Imagine finding yourself decades ahead, facing the grim consequences of choices made back in our own time. Today, we're diving deep into a narrative source you brought us, Return to Earth. And it's more than just a story, isn't it? It feels like a really thought-provoking look at a possible future, packed with some startling details. Grim realities, too, all seen through the eyes of these people who just accidentally land there.
Exactly. And our mission for this deep dive really is to unpack what this speculative future is telling us, understand the causes behind it, and, consider what it means for us right now. It's about digging into the lessons, the implications. Okay, let's unpack this.
All right. So the story kicks off with 3 NASA astronauts.
Yeah.
You've got Flight Commander Dawn, Mission Pilot Terry, and Mission Specialist Kim. They're heading to a planet P2, seems like a standard mission, but then wham! They get pulled through some kind of portal, crash land somewhere totally different. This place called E2.
Right. And on E2, they meet Tom. He's a fascinating character, half alien, half human. He actually helps reunite Dawn and Kim with Terry, who got separated. Then there's this frantic escape, They're running from these beings called the Shadows, trying desperately to get back towards Earth.
And here's where things get really wild.
Yeah.
During that escape, there's a miscalculation, a big one. They're trying to get home, but they overshoot badly. They don't just return to Earth, they plunge right into its future. Specifically, the narrative calls it the end of the 21st century.
Yeah, and the Earth they find is just completely transformed. They crash land in California, but it's in this deep and wide ravine. Almost immediately, they meet a Czech. He's the chief of a local tribe. Now, the text says he's 45, but he looks much older. Rough, weathered face, lanky frame with a slight hunch. It really paints a picture of a harsh existence.
And he immediately comments on the environment, right? Says rain is incredibly rare now, the days are sweltering, and there's this constant thick layer of dust everywhere. Grim first impression.
Definitely. And Tom, with his alien tech, runs a scan.
What does it find?
Well, the probe confirms what HAC's presence suggests. Oxygen levels are lower than what it should be, the carbon dioxide levels are higher, and the probe picked up some methane too.
So, is it dangerous?
Tom says it's technically safe to breathe, but then he immediately adds, not healthy. That distinction is chilling, I think. It suggests this baseline level of environmental degradation that people are just living with.
And their ship is damaged, too.
Yeah, the ship's dead. That chase with the Shadows took its toll. They need solar panels to recharge. So finding those becomes their immediate goal, which forces them to interact with this changed world.
And what a changed world it is, especially America. Achak basically tells them the U.S., it doesn't exist like they knew it. It's broken apart into different countries. You've got the coastal America that's both coasts, then the heartland, which is the southern states.
Kind of Midwest.
Just an empty, barren land, according to Ashok. His tribe is literally sandwiched in between 2 countries. Talk about fragmentation.
That's quite a picture. And does Achak explain why it happened?
He does. He says it was a combination of everything. But the source really points to specific triggers.
Like what?
Bad political decisions, bad leadership, bad government, an ill-informed public, environmental impacts, religious fighting, and just greed. Lots of greed.
Okay, so a perfect storm, basically.
Yeah, and it mentions the election of a maniac president early in the century. Someone described as the most divisive leader America had ever seen, pushing bigoted views and xenophobic policies.
And that led to isolation.
Totally. America became a leper that no one wanted to touch. It really shows how internal division can have these massive global consequences.
And it wasn't just political borders that changed. The human cost was huge, too.
Absolutely. World population dropped significantly from over 7 billion when they left down to under 5 billion. That's a massive collapse.
And extinctions, too, right? Plants and animals.
Yeah, widespread extinctions. It's bleak.
And the geography itself, the source describes some pretty dramatic physical changes to the U.S.
Oh, yeah. Like Los Angeles. You won't believe this. They meet an engineer later, Mark from JPL, who confirms it.
What happened?
L.A. is an island. Apparently there was a massive earthquake, a magnitude 9, on the San Andreas Fault, southern zone, sometime mid-century.
A magnitude 9.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah. The plates shifted so much that L.A. literally broke off from California and floated into the Pacific Ocean.
That sounds almost unbelievable, like sci-fi disaster flick stuff.
I know. but the source presents it quite matter-of-factly.
Oh.
And then there's Florida.
What about Florida? Don't tell me.
Chuck just drops this bomb. There is no Florida.
No Florida. Like gone.
Most of it. Most of the lower part of Florida is submerged. Only the panhandle remains.
Yeah, the cause, let me guess.
Global warming, rising sea levels, ignored warnings from scientists. It affected coastal towns everywhere, east and west coasts, forcing millions inland.
And the source stresses this wasn't just America, right? It was global. Island nations disappearing.
It really underscores how climate change doesn't care about borders.
Right. But amidst all this, LA, this new island, has this interesting defense. A holographic wall.
Ah, yes, the wall. It's not physical, is it?
No, it's described as a projection. Laser beams, basically. Designed to keep people out. It looks like it rises and changes color. Pretty high-tech deterrent. But there's that interesting detail if you do push through it.
Yeah, apparently people there welcome you. Offer water, chocolates. It's such a strange contrast to the harshness everywhere else. Like this isolated pocket trying to maintain some kind of civility.
It's fascinating. And this fractured world has led to new kinds of societies or communities forming.
That's right. Achak mentions communities forming based on thoughts, race, and language. And they're very suspicious of others.
And they meet Jose, right, in Latino land.
Yeah, a Hispanic man living in this community defined by skin color. And resources are scarce, like water is rationed to just once a week there.
Pretty grim. But then things get even darker when they learn about the heartland.
Oh, definitely. They hear about these white gringos, basically bounty hunters.
Bounty hunters for what?
For people. They capture anyone they can find for slave labor in the heartland. Jose talks about a weekly train that takes people away.
My God. Slave labor in the future.
Yeah. And it's described as totally indiscriminate.
Indiscriminate how?
Black, red, yellow, male, female, child, everyone is a target. Except there's one group they specifically reject.
Who's that?
The source says they don't want our gays. If identified, they're branded, like cattle.
Branded. That's horrific.
It is. They meet a man, John, who was enslaved on a ranch in Houston, which is now Heartland territory. He talks about the brutality, conversion therapy, whipping.
It's a chilling reminder of how easily rights can be stripped away. The source explicitly draws parallels, to things like the Manzanar internment camps or even recent events like the overturning of Roe v. Wade. It shows that regression is always possible if a society isn't vigilant.
Absolutely. But then you have coastal America, particularly L.A., which is presented as this stark contrast. They seem to have figured some things out.
Like what? What's different there?
Well, for transport, they have something called the Magna Loop. They repurposed old vacuum tubes, apparently, for magnetic freight transport.
So like Hyperloop, but for cargo.
Seems like it. Moving food and supplies between L.A. and Santa Barbara. Very innovative reuse of old infrastructure.
And sustainability. That must be key on an island.
Totally. They convert salty ocean water to sweet water. Power is entirely from the sun, using huge power plants.
Makes sense. What about food?
Get this. No meat on the island.
No meat at all. Why?
Raising livestock used too much water, which was already scarce, and apparently produced more methane than their transportation systems. So they cut it out.
Wow, that's a major shift. What else is different?
Lots of little things. Self-driving electric pickups, Ford F-150s, but with a, It's a cashless society using something called Kircoins.
Kircoins. Like crypto.
Sort of, but physical too. They're described as carbon fiber buttons linked to palm scanners that analyze your DNA.
Analyze your DNA for a transaction. Okay, that's intense. Privacy implications there.
Right. And they have these mega stores called Filmy, where the items come to you on tracks. Culturally, Hollywood movies aren't shown in the Heartland anymore. The Heartland has its own entertainment industry.
And education, how do they teach about the past?
Through HVR, historical virtual reality. It's mandatory in schools.
So they experience the past virtually.
Yeah, specifically learning about the Great Divide of America and what caused it. Trying to make sure history doesn't repeat, I guess.
That makes sense. And the source mentions global changes, too, beyond America.
Oh, yeah. Big ones. The European Union collapsed after Brexit. France, Italy, Spain, Germany, all went their own way.
So fragmentation there, too.
Seems like it. And many oil-producing countries in the Middle East just disappeared. The world largely moved to renewable energy, so they lost their relevance, maybe their viability.
A complete energy transition. And SpaceX, what happened to them?
You're not going to like this one. They meet someone, Steve, at SpaceX, their new job.
What? Mars colony, interstellar travel.
Nope. They're garbage collectors of the world.
Garbage collectors, seriously.
Yeah. Launching Earth's overwhelming trash into space because we produced too much. Talk about a fall from grace for space exploration.
Wow. That's deeply cynical, but maybe disturbingly plausible. Then all this must be hitting the astronauts really hard personally.
Oh, absolutely. Don is from Malibu. He sees his old beachfront home completely submerged, his Harley gone with it. It's devastating for him.
And Terry. He's from Florida, right?
Yeah, so finding out Florida is basically gone. And then seeing slavery, something that impacted his ancestors, happening again. It hits him hard.
And Kim Yo, she's from Texas, I think.
Right. She's just filled with this righteous anger about the injustice, the division of her country. It fuels her.
And Tom the alien. How does he react to all this human mess?
He has this sort of detached perspective, you know. He compares humanity's choices to mistakes his own race made on 2 previous planets.
What kind of mistakes?
He says humans rely too much on senses, on immediate feelings instead of analysis. Leads to a false sense of comfort, apparently, making bad long-term decisions. But he's not totally detached, is he? The source mentions him showing compassion.
Not at all. Despite his logic, he risks the mission multiple times. He saves Jose, and later he uses his stunner weapon to help rescue the enslaved people at that ranch in the heartland. There's a real conflict there, I think, between his alien logic and developing human empathy.
And seeing all this, knowing what happened, it changes the astronaut's mission, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Kim is adamant we have to do something when we go back.
And Terry wants to actively intervene, right? Take the enslaved people they find to coastal America.
Yeah, he feels this intense need to act now, not just report back. The weight of this future knowledge is immense. Achak even tells them directly, go back and fix this mess. It puts this huge burden on them.
But it doesn't end neatly. The deep dive, the source material, it ends abruptly.
How so?
During that rescue attempt at the ranch,
Yeah.
Kim gets shot.
Shot? Oh no, does it say?
Nope. It just ends there. Her fate, the fate of the rescue, their whole mission to return and warn people. Yeah. It's all left hanging. A real cliffhanger.
Wow. Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive into Return to Earth, there's a lot here.
Definitely. We've seen this potential future shaped profoundly by, well, collective human choices. Greed, division, ignoring climate science. It all leads to this fragmented, often brutal world.
It's a narrative about political failure, environmental catastrophe, and a terrifying rollback of basic human rights on a global scale.
And while, yes, it's fiction, the questions it raises feel incredibly relevant.
For sure. It forces you to think, doesn't it? What can we actually learn from this kind of chilling glimpse? I mean, how do we, as individuals, as societies, avoid heading down a similar path?
That really is the core question. If we agree that, the survival of the planet, of a functioning society is the top priority, how do we start bridging these huge divides we see now? How do we make sure our story, our real story, leads somewhere better than fragmentation and despair?
Yeah.
How do we build that truly united future? Something to really think about.